Hi guys, I am back on. I haven't tested it, but I've actually got 2 layers of wadding under this. It's just poly wadding, and I've also batting, and I've also got the backing on, so I've got 4 layers altogether. So I'm hoping that you guys can see what I'm doing, and I'm hoping it doesn't knock over anything important. So the first thing I'm going to do is obviously put the foot down and needle down, and I'm going to try and bring up that bob, and it's very, very small, so I'll just pop that there, and I'm just going to do a couple of knots there, lift up my foot, grab my scissors and trim off that thread, just because it'll get in my way. Throw on my glasses so I can see what I'm doing. And pop my foot down. And I'm going to follow these black lines. And I'm going to do the best I can. It's not going to be perfect, and I'm okay with that. I just want to see what it's sort of doing, what speed it's at. And that looks fairly okay. You can hear the tick, 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 tick noise. That is the noise of the needle going through the paint. This is a closed toe needle, foot, sorry, which does make it a little bit harder for you to see through. And my open toe foot is on my other machine in the house at the moment, so I just thought I'd use this one. The thread I'm using is Resant. It's just a plain cotton thread with a poly core, and it's quite durable though, so it's a good one to use for this sort of thing. I'll just go around here. Yeah, so if you hear that tapping, that noise is normal for anything when you're sewing through paint, and you can hear it, and it freaks you out when you first hear it. I'm just doing some circles in that purple area. I'm hoping you guys can see this. And because I can't see through that foot, I might miss a few spots here and there. So with this sort of sewing, I tend to go over lines 2 to 3 times, even 4, just depending on what look I'm looking for or where I need to go. So sometimes I'll just go over an extra time just so that I can get from one side of the quilt to the other. So now I'm just going to go around the top one. And that creates that. And then I'll just travel out to the next spot where I'm going to sew, so you can see what I've done there. And like I say, I'm not overly perfect with it. Can see it well. Good. That's good to hear, Stella. Thank you. These are my gloves that I wear. They're the nifty gloves, and I do sell these. They aren't cheap, but I tell you what, they are your best friend, especially with my hot flushes. I don't have anything on my wrists because I overheat in a really bad way, and gloves would send me nutty, so I wear these. I've got no pins in this whatsoever, because it's that small a piece, it really doesn't need it. Now, and you can see that there might be some spots that are missed, and I'm going to go back over those with our trusty permanent marker. And yes, I did say permanent marker. So, thanks, Chris. So each time I do one, I just turn it around a bit, and you can see there's little bits where I've missed. You can see there? And I am literally going to touch them up with a permanent marker, so it won't look out of place. It's just going to look like it's meant to be in there. Yeah, it'll just blend in nicely. Mine's probably a bit thick, but that's all right. Yeah, so there you go, just a plain old Sharpie. Next petal. This part doesn't take too long, this stitching it around thing. Oops, today's a bit of a wobble. But I do try and not cut off as much as I can. I don't really want to be cutting my thread, stopping and starting all the time. So I will do as much as I can without cutting off that thread. This is also a perfect time to do any kind of couching. You get some really nice effects with couching with this sort of thing. And I do have a demo that is taking 6,000 bloody hours more than I expected. But anyway, it'll get there. But I hope you can all hear that snapping noise. That's the noise of the needle going through the paint. So that tells me I'm right on the edge of the paint. Or onto the paint. And because I'm not going super duper fast, my thread, it won't shred. Because not only am I going through paint and then fabric, and then I'm also going through 2 layers of wadding, plus I'm going through the backing and the top fabric. So it does become quite thick. And you can see it's starting to take its shape. And like I said, you don't have to do these lines black. You can do them any colour you want to do them, but I just decided to do them the same as the black that I'd drawn on there. And it just gives it that sort of, I don't know, that whimsical look. Okay, I think I only went around that one once, so I'll go around twice. What wadding do you use on that, please? Because I use wool wadding. Oh, look, this is just a Matilda's Own poly. Excuse me. For anything that's decorative, not going into a major quilt, I'll use the poly. But if you're going to put it into a quilt, you could use a cotton and then a wool. And it gives it that real trapunto sort of look. Thanks, Judy. Thanks, Charmaine. It does. It looks nice and shiny. So I tend to use the Matilda's Own. I steer clear of any kind of bamboo wadding because it beards. So the little fibres come out of the holes of the sewing. The needle's gone through.
and over time that wadding disappears out of your quilt. So for those who have been told bamboo's brilliant, I would probably think twice about using it in anything that's got to be washed a lot. Okay, so my gloves make my hands, my fingers and everything stay down. So I'm not using the ends of my fingers, which stops me from doing that. It makes me put my hand flat. So that reduces, that means I don't have to, my shoulders don't lift up. I don't get that strain that I used to get. And I don't get the tendonitis I used to get. I used to get injections all the time, always had pain. And since I've started using these all the time, I don't get that pain anymore. Oops, daisy, a bit of a wobble. My man, I love to see it. So let's and share this video, share it on Craft Alive on their event page, because I'm sure that other people want to see it, and I'll share it after it's finished. But yeah, if you can share it so that people can also watch as well at the same time, because I think the Craft Alive event finished at 4:30. So if there's people sitting there and before they get their dinner ready, wanting to sort of watch a bit of a video, you see that starting to pinch, don't stress. We'll sew that in. Yeah, so share the video, friends and fam, see if they want to watch it. I'll upload it onto YouTube, and I'll also upload it onto both of them onto my business page as well, my website. See that little bit of pinching, it's gone away. So it's just sort of been sewn into it and it's been stitched to death. It's not going anywhere. Oops, a daisy, I think I just ran out of bobbin. So I'll just cut off, and yep, all good. So that's it. So there. Can you use wool? Yes, you can use wool. Looking good. Good to watch new techniques. Thanks, Kay. I'll just change the bobbin around. I'll fill it up. I think I had a fight with it the other day, this one. I think it won the argument. So I might grab a newie. Actually, I'll grab one from out of here. It's got nothing on it. Yeah, well, everyone does these things different, so it works like a quilt as you go. Yes, Stella, yes, absolutely. Yeah, you can do it as a quilt as you go, for sure. I mean, you can do 9 blocks of this and then just join them all together as a quilt as you go. Absolutely. Why not? And then you've got this magnificent quilt that's been hand-painted, stitched by yourself. It's a one-off. And everyone will be jealous. Yeah, so I just learnt how to do that. Stitch, oh, what? Oh, did you? Quilt as you go. Yeah. It's a good technique. And there's quite a few ways you can do it. You can do it where you join it at the front, or join it at the back, and you can slip stitch it down. There's lots of different ways you can do it. Oh, that's just come off there. Fill that up. You can hear Rod out there. He's got the
four-wheeler. Sorry, I thought I was all organised before, but obviously not. I ran out quicker than I thought I would. Again, just a result in the bobbin and a result in the top. Because it is fluffier, please remember to clean out your machine more often. Oops, a daisy. And, oh, did I just cut that off twice then? That was a bit stupid of me. And I'll just put that needle down so I can see what I'm doing. I'm a little crazy sometimes, Stella. You'll get to know that. All right. So needle down, needle up. Bring up my bobbin. Go. Get rid of that thread. Alrighty. That was just awesome. Oh, I've still got more to go. So, alright, I did run out of thread somewhere. Oh yeah, here. Okay, this will do it. So, I am about here, down. Got to slow down the machine again because it was at the speed to fill a bobbin. And I think I'm a little bit faster than last time, and I've got a bit of a thread hanging out there somewhere, which I'll get to. So I might just stop there. You notice I didn't stop in the middle of the circle, the half, like the curve, because if I had done that I probably would have gone wobbly like a dog's leg. It's a bit too slow now. So anything that you think is a little bit like too thin with the stitching, just go over it a couple of times. Don't be frightened to go over it a couple of times, or colour it in if you want to, you know, use your actual thread to colour in some of it. Don't be frightened to use your thread, and just think of it as darning, and you're just, you know, filling two spots in. So you can see I haven't got my hands absolutely gripping on. Sorry, I was just reading a thing. Thanks, Judy. Thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate that. No, I've got no fear of... I don't mind sharing techniques. I mean, the more people who do it, the more the industry thrives. Absolutely. I've got no qualms whatsoever. I'll always teach how I do it, and I always expect people to tweak it to how it works for them. Oops, a daisy, bit of a wobble again, and another one. There we go. And you know, either way, it always ends up fine. Like, not everyone's going to be exact same as each other, and that I'm fine with. You know, that's no big deal. So this one here, I'm going to run along those doodads there, in there, and I might just do a few of these ones, just for something different. I mean, you can decorate these any which way you choose. There's no right or wrong. Like I said before in the last video, I didn't start this with any kind of plan. I just thought, oh, let's do one of these and see what happens. So no right and wrong here. So how does the painted bit wash up? Really, really well. So I ironed this before I started sewing on it. That's why it doesn't look as crinkly as it did before. And it washes very, very well. So as long as you heat set it, it'll be fine. Now you can see I'm coming around here and I've got a bit of a pulling going on here.
So as I come around, I'll be supporting it to get it to do what I want it to do. I'm going to do this little one first. Oops, daisy went on the wrong side. And you can see my hands stay in one position. I've noticed a lot of people, when they quilt, they tend to almost like they piece. I'll just go on this side and I'll show you what I mean. So they'll do these ones and they'll be moving their hands around to make it feed. And if you're doing that, just try and take notice of it and see if you can stop doing that. And keep your hands in one spot until you know you need to move them, like you've got no control going on. And then change them up and make it so that you keep your hands in one spot and slowly glide them around the base of the machine underneath the needle. You're not piecing, you're quilting, so you've got to make that mental effort just to keep that, keep your hands in one spot until you really need to move them over, okay? Has anyone got any questions about quilting or stitching or anything at all? Probably, I reckon us women could solve the problems of the world. So to get over to that new leaf that I need to do, that next one, if you notice, I haven't been cutting off. Did you iron it on the back of the painted? No. I ironed it on the front. It was completely dry, and I just ironed it on the front. You can use an applique mat if you want to, or a tea towel or something like that, but I found it was, once it was dry, it just ironed perfectly well. No, I didn't protect my iron because I'm a naughty mummy. So I'm going to go the opposite side of this petal, or leaf I should say, because this is where it's a little bit chunky, and I'm going to stitch it down. So when you see something that is really, really creasing, like this one is, stitch more, because that will make it, that will push it all down. So you can see how it's starting to push down. Go here, across. I hope my hands aren't in the way too much. I'll go back up the other way. Same way I came. Go up. Colour in my texture marks because, you know, like I said, I just used a permanent marker. Just make sure I colour them in. Some of those areas, it's just a matter of going backwards and forwards, sort of over the areas you've been. And then I'll just travel back down over that really heavy spot. And there you can hear it going dum, 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 and come back up the centre. really see the comments very well, so if I miss them, I'll send you a message after I've gone back over it. If I do, I apologise. So I'm just going to go back down here, down to the end, and then I stop. Looks fantastic. I must free motion quilt more. Oh, look, it's fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. I really enjoy this, and I mean, if you could see how high these have risen, that's just beautiful. I'm going to come down here and across, and I'm going to do this fella. So see how it was all pinching before? It's not anymore. So it's literally stopped all that pinching in there. So that's fabulous. Coming down here, and you'll see that, you know, something like this, it doesn't take a long time. Just going to go back over that little bit there. You know, once you've painted it, and I sort of fluffed around with it for a bit, it doesn't take long at all. So I'm just going to go around the outside edge once, and that just helps stabilise the area that I'm about to work in or on. Okay, so once I've gone over once, then I can do a couple extras. Back and forth. I just do each bit at a time sometimes, or I go the whole way. So that's personal choice. Whatever you find it easier doing. And I don't use a foot. If you noticed, I actually use the stop-start button on my machine because I've got the speed dial there on my machine, you know, from rabbit to hare. And that, if I just press start, because I've got the start button, if I just press start, that'll actually just do whatever maximum speed I set it at. So it's almost like a bit of a stitch regulator, but without stitch regulating. And it just releases the issue of having one more motor skill to think about while I'm trying to concentrate on where I'm going. So it's one less thing I have to worry about. No foot control. All I have to do is remember when I'm ready to stop is to get my finger ready or thumb ready, and you'll see me lift up my thumb and press the button off soon, and then yeah, turn it off. It stops. So I'm going to come and do this side of it. So when I'm doing these lines and bits and pieces and extra bits, I'm not really thinking, I'm just doing. I'm just sort of going, oh, well, in my head I know I need to do some lines there just to give it some direction. So yeah, I don't sort of think too much. If you are the kind of person who needs to draw it out, do that. Just draw it out. You know, don't be frightened to draw it out. I'm just going to go around this pedal one more time. I think that's where I stopped before, and I ran out of bobbin. Let's give it an extra couple of goes around. And I need to come up to this one up here. And you can tell I haven't actually stopped and cut off my thread except for the time that
I ran out of bobbin, and that was the only time. One continuous long thread. It's a daisy, a bit off the beaten track there. That's okay. And also, if you noticed, I actually didn't have to take my gloves off to change my thread. That's another reason why I love these gloves. I'll just stop in a second and have a look at the messages, so see if I missed too many. I get in a bit of a mode and I start and I don't want to stop. You know what that's like. So beautiful. So yes, Leslie, doing studio stuff. So thank you very much for sharing this. I've enjoyed it. Oh, you're welcome. So beautiful to see you working at last. It was very interesting. While I'm learning, I'll draw everything out when I'm learning. Yeah, look, you will, and that's fine. You know, everyone's different. Like I say, there's no right and wrong with this. This is. Everyone has their own stage that they're at, their own limitations and expectations as well. You've got those as well. And we are our own worst critic, so be kinder to yourself. I normally tell everyone to be kinder. And I'll just start going around this fella, even if I go around him once today. And got him looking like a little bit of a, I don't know, what do they call him, a target thing, but I'm going to up the ante on that and do a few lines and stuff just to break out that boredom looking. I don't want it looking like a target practice thing. So I'm hoping that you guys are picking up a few little tips and tricks as you can see that I'm making these little designs. And I still haven't cut off or anything. And I'm coming along. Now I did accidentally paint over a couple of these a little bit more than I wanted to last time, but you can sort of see where I need to be. And you know what, if I can't find where I need to be, I'll make it up. At least if I go over this once, you'll get to see what I do on a general basis. Okay, looking good. Thank you. Oh, lovely. No worries, guys. I'm glad you're enjoying. And you can you see those designs there? They're sort of a bit hard to see. I'm hoping that once I get this off, I'll take a photo or two and share it up there. And like I said, don't forget to share this link on Craft Alive so other people can sit and watch it too this evening. And I'll download it onto YouTube once that other big thing's uploaded. Now I have been told that I make it look easy, and I know that people like Helen do as well, and I do apologise, but I do really just take my time. I don't go a million miles an hour, and it is not perfect, but I'm happy, and that's the main thing. That's what I look for in life, is just to stay happy. Life's too bleeding short to be, you know, too fussy with your things. You know. So I'm going over these a second time round. Some I've already done it twice and some I haven't. And a bit off there, doesn't matter. Okay. See what I'm doing? I'm now going down this stalk. While I'm there, I might as well do that. And I'm going to just come up the other side, the same side, back to where I was, and keep going around. Really hear that paint under the needle. Okay, tried to share but couldn't, what's it say? Couldn't get Craft Alive site up. Think it's because I'm on my phone. Are you going to have, oh hang on. Are you going to have more classes like this down the track? Thank you, Leslie. Gidget, yes, I am. We'll share first. Share just yeah. Love the way you explain as you go. I do actually, Charmaine. I do it all the time. How often would you change your needle? Now, Gidget, I'm naughty. I don't change it as often as I should. I've been told every 8 to 10 hours. Hi, Glenda. How you going? But you know, until I find that it's shredding or playing up, and then I'll change it. Or I'm starting a project that I think will need a sharp new needle. So, you know, something that's got a thread that's fussy. If the needle's not new and sharp, it'll shred all the time, you know. So I sort of judge it as I go, but I am naughty, and I've been told many times. And I do tell my students to change a needle because, you know, especially in a class, you don't want to be fighting the machine the whole way. But I can normally hear it in the machine. You can hear it when it needs to change. I know my machine fairly well. And I do talk the whole way through, and I'm sorry if some people don't like it and some people do, but I like to explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it, because I think most people are visual. So if I'm trying to explain something to you, but I haven't got it happening, you can't understand. Like, it's harder for you to understand what I'm talking about. So if I've got it actually happening, then I can explain to you at the same time, and it makes it easier for both parties. Plus, it takes out the boredom of me just sewing. What size needle do you use? This, I think, is a size 16. No worries, Glenda. Yep. So, and yep. And I'm just using a Razant thread, just FYI, nothing flash, nothing special. The
black lines that you can see that where I haven't stitched a permanent marker. I did do a video on the painting earlier today, so you're welcome to go back and watch that one. It also takes out the scary bit of trying something new. I love this. Oh, you're well. Oh, fantastic, Gidget. I'm really happy that you're enjoying it because, yeah, this is not scary. This, I think this is something to be absolutely not afraid of. It's a lot of fun. It's very forgiving. So, you know, if you do find that, you know, you've got like that there, you know, you can see a bit of a crease there. It's very, very forgiving. I can go back in there and just stitch that baby in. You won't even know that there was one there. So in that regard, it's very forgiving. So, you know, you see I've gone off the mark there. That's okay. It becomes a part of it. It gives it that nice sketchy look. I try very hard not to be perfect. Well, I don't have to try hard because I'm not perfect. So, you know, I just don't try to be perfect. As soon as I try to be perfect, then I'm very disappointed in myself. So I'd rather be happy. It's a bit of a motto of mine, be happy, not perfect. You see that little bit of a crease that's in there now? I've actually stitched that to death. It's no longer there. I think I forgot to change my tension too. I'm not too sure. Yeah, no, I've got my tension on the right one. So I adjust my tension to, when I do any kind of free motion anything, I'll have my tension for my machine on around about the 5.5 mark. Every machine's a little bit different, but you normally have to tighten your tension up. Don't be tricked into thinking you need to loosen your tension. Also, yeah, not scary for you maybe. Yeah, well, Stella, no, that's true. But when I first started, you know, I was no different than you guys. You know, what's the worst can happen, Stella? You ruin a bit of fabric, and then you have to start again. It's no big deal. And, you know, at least you've got someone like me that you can turn to at any given time and say, look, Michelle, I'll send you a photo of what I'm doing. What do you think I'm doing right or wrong? And I'm so happy to help out. When I first started doing this, it was all trial and error. And is this going to work? Is that going to work? Is it going to look okay? Now you guys that are really starting to find this stuff have really got the help out there. You've got people like Helen Godden, you've got myself, you've got Lisa Walton. There's so many. There's Neroli Anderson. I mean, there's, what's her name? Carolyn Sharkey. There's Sue Devaney. Gosh, there's so many of us out there doing all different types of textile art, and we're all there for you. How awesome is that? I think that's awesome. See, I love silk painting because I love seeing the way the paint acts with the fabric. It's just such a beautiful thing to watch. It really is. Whereas this paint doesn't react like that. This paint just sits exactly where you put it. Silk painting, it's a little bit more technical, but geez, it's nice. I'm just okay. Yeah, I did a class with Carolyn Sharkey a long time ago. She's awesome too. Charmaine, she's an amazing woman. Very, very talented woman. Very, very talented. Now, I've gone all around this other than my little things down here. So I'm actually going to cut off. Look at that, first time. And I'm going to do the centre bit here. I'm pulling that out because I want to bury that in. If it's underneath that foot, I won't bury it. So I'm just going to do this centre bit. You can see I didn't tie off or, knot my threads. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. So once I get to about here, I'm now going to do a little bit of a swirl in there. And come back. Nice and slow, and do one more in there, one more on the same thing, and go back. That creates a bit of a feature. There you go, and stop, cut off. That's the, you can see that, I don't know, hang on, let me just lift that up a bit. You see that? Now I've just got these stems down here to do, so bear with me a second and I'll finish them off. So if you pull that thread out like that, what happens is as soon as I put my needle down, it buries it. How cool is that? I did go right off on that one, but anyway. We'll just make that work. I've done classes with Carolyn Sharkey a couple of times. When I was really trying to find my niche of what I was, who I was and what I was as a textile artist, and she was the one who actually said to me to find my own niche, that, I can go to workshops and stuff and it's all fun, but to find my own niche so that it was something that I could look at and go, yep, that's very Michelle. Now, like the ballerinas, like the cockatoo and the brolgas and all that sort of stuff, that's very me. It's raw edge applique. It's nice and simple. It's a me thing. It looks like something that I would do. So that's a lot of my stuff is nowadays. It'll be thread painted, it'll be raw edge applique to an inch of its life. It'll be free motion quilted, it'll be couched. I'm not really, I can do it, of course, because, I've been around for long enough time to be able to do it. I can do the piecing and all that, and the patchwork side of things, but I'm not huge into it. There's my bobbin again, I would much rather do this any day than the other. So I'm just going to cut this off. And just do another bobbin. Won't take a minute. I only need half a bobbin. So
Yeah, and everyone's going to everyone has to find that niche, you know, of their own style. You know, you'll pick up bits from one person, that person, techniques that you'll pick up, and whoopsie-daisy, and eventually that will become you and what people will look at and go, oh, that's, you know, Mary's, that's Joe's, that's whoever. You can tell by looking at it. You know, you look at Neroli Henderson and you look at her work and you know it's her work because, you know, same with Sue Devaney, same with Lisa Walton. They've all got their own personal style, which I adore. The same with Helen Godden and all those. They're all those big ones have their own niche, and that's what makes their work unique to them. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do is finish going around these, and then tomorrow I'll do a video on the quilting on the outside. Would you like that? That's something you want to see? Oops, what's that? Where'd that come from? What that? Oh yeah, it's caught up in there. Well, where is that coming from? That shouldn't be there. Alright, just pull that, hold on to that, foot down, needle up. Yep, okay, cool. Stella, yep, Gidget, sure. Alright, well, I'm almost there for tonight, and then we'll, tomorrow we'll kick back in. Oops, a daisy, foot down. And, you silly woman, put your machine back to normal speed. We'll kick back in and do the rest of this piece. Alrighty, we're almost there. So, once it's done, yeah, no worries, Leslie. Yep, for Charmaine as well. Stella, yes. Once this is sort of quilted, oh no, I've missed a piece. Then I've got to figure out what we do with it. So, you know, that's always something we're going to look at. What do we make out of it? I made a bag out of the other one, the couching piece, so do we want another bag, or do we want, I don't know, what do we want to do? We just want an art piece. But yeah, thank you. This is great to get my creative juices flowing. Good Gidget. Yeah, it's always nice to do all the charity work that we do, but it's also nicer to get your juices flowing on a bit of creativity, I reckon. All right, I can see another one where I only just did one row. A bit slack that was. But yeah, all right. Well, I will finish this off and I'll close off the video. Thank you for joining me again. I appreciate it. I will do some videos on some fabric specials tomorrow as well as doing this one, and with a bit of luck my couching video will be completely uploaded, which would be fantastic. That would be good. Alrighty, that's it. I can say done and dusted. We are ready. Okay, so bags they are always handy. Yes. Thanks, Brett. So this is just something finished for the day. So tomorrow we'll do the quilting and we'll continue on. Don't forget to share the video and or the link to the video at Craft Alive, and we'll get busy and finish it tomorrow, and maybe we'll make a bag. And I'll pop up a photo of this on Craft Alive as well as my website. I will chat to you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me. You've been brilliant as always. Love you heaps. Bye.